Hello?
Bothered, mate. Shit!
Folks, whatever that is that was howling a while ago, it started up again.
The most disturbing wilderness encounters begin when something ordinary reveals a danger no one saw coming. One explorer found a child-sized chamber locked from the outside, while two hunters fled a wounded bear after their rifle jammed. What would make you turn back? Hayes has always been passionate about spending time in nature. Through his channel Hayes Outdoors, he frequently posts footage from camping journeys across mountains, woodlands, and other remote locations. His material follows him as he navigates challenging terrain and spends extended periods far from the easier access offered by familiar campsites. During the years, he has built a dedicated audience, and his videos often provide useful lessons about staying capable and comfortable outdoors. However, this upload from March 24th, 2026 is especially memorable because it shows how quickly a normal moment can become dangerous even for an experienced outdoorsman. The footage begins in a calm, casual way. Hayes is seated comfortably looking through messages left by viewers with no reason to suspect that anything unusual is about to occur.
What's the best method of kicking your ass to actually get out? I've never regretted going camping once, but for some reason really have to drag myself out. I've no idea why. Because it's easier to stay in. Everything's designed to keep you in. Easy food, easy life, and that's how they want it, mate. They want you knackered, and they want you staying in and not doing anything. And what you've got to do, mate, is prove them wrong. Stick it to yourself as well, because no one deserves to kick your ass as much as you do.
While continuing to respond to the comments, however, he becomes less aware of what is happening around him. That short break in concentration causes an accident that could easily have ended with far more serious consequences.
You know, if you're like, I can't be bothered, mate. Shit! Oh my God, I think I've broke my arm. Oh my God, I think I've broke my arm. Oh my God. Oh, ow, ow, ow. Where's my camera gone? Oh no, where's the mic? Mic's still there, you can hear me. Mate, I think I've broke my arm, and I was lucky that I didn't land on my head then. I could have been dead. Mate, I've just fallen down that cliff and landed there. My arm is haggard and I've lost my camera. I can't see it. Don't know if it's landed in water and gone off end at waterfall, or whether it's on there somewhere on that cliff as I fell down. That was violent, that was violent. I don't know, my elbow feels absolutely knackered, mate. It's all gone tingly. If I'd have come down there at a different angle, mate, I would have been dead. And as I was falling, I didn't even know whether I was going down big bit.
Thankfully, Hayes escaped without major harm and did not break his arm. Still, the accident had enormous potential to become severe. If his head had struck the ground, he might have died. Since he fell into the water, an injury that prevented him from moving properly might also have caused him to drown immediately. The moment demonstrates how one brief distraction outdoors can rapidly develop into a deadly emergency. Everything may appear completely safe, then suddenly become a situation someone may not survive. The fall itself was not particularly large, which makes the incident even more disturbing. A minor slip can become fatal within seconds when the body lands in the wrong position. That possibility makes the seemingly ordinary mistake frightening. Remain attentive whenever you're outside. Regardless of your experience level, nature can still surprise you at the exact moment your guard drops. Experience offers no complete protection. It may only mean that fortune has favored you more often. What do you believe helps someone remain focused while exploring alone in the wilderness? The footage appeared on an Instagram profile named PashaBrill9. Pasha explained that the incident began with an ordinary and somewhat embarrassing error. While traveling along a wooded road, one of his tires struck a pointed branch lying across the pavement. It immediately went flat, leaving his vehicle immobilized on a completely deserted route bordered entirely by forest. He began documenting the situation with his phone, while also using clips captured by the dashboard camera. At first, he treated the problem casually and seemed amused by his bad luck. He had no replacement tire, no phone service, and nobody else nearby as daylight slowly disappeared behind the trees. Eventually, a weak signal briefly returned, allowing him to contact a friend.
Колесо спущено. За час, который я здесь нахожусь, ни одна машина не проехала. Единственное, что меняется в этой ситуации, то, что начинает темнеть.
Help was coming, but reaching the location would require a drive of approximately 4 hours. From that point, the mood of the recording began changing. Nothing unusual happens in the first clips. Pasha simply passes the time, speaks toward the camera, and walks near the stranded vehicle.
Что это за херня была?
Once complete darkness covers the woods, however, the tension suddenly increases. Movement becomes visible among the bushes. Initially, it seems like an ordinary creature crossing the road, perhaps a loose dog or some native wildlife. Then, he sees two vivid red eyes reflecting through the darkness without looking away. The shape pauses at the center of the road, turns toward him, and vanishes into a different part of the woods. Pasha freezes. Whatever he saw traveled on 4 limbs, yet its proportions appeared unnatural. Its body looked dark, almost hairless, and its movements resembled no animal he recognized. Rather than remaining beside the vehicle until help arrived, Pasha made a decision he would later regret. He followed the figure into the woods.
Работает.
Between the trees, the glowing red eyes continued appearing in the distance. The creature repeatedly withdrew, but never seemed to disappear. At one stage, it moved behind a tree and vanished altogether, almost as though it had climbed upward instantly, or simply blended into the surrounding darkness. Pasha could only replay his recordings and attempt to understand what had crossed his path. The most reasonable possibility is a wild animal whose eyes reflected the light unusually. Yet the alternative explanations shared online were more disturbing, including the chupacabra, the rake, and skinwalkers. Some strange footage receives a logical explanation, while other recordings never provide enough evidence for one. Would you have remained inside the vehicle or followed the figure into the forest? On February 15, 2025, the YouTube channel Carly HD uploaded footage that began as a routine vlog and gradually developed into an encounter neither woman expected. The channel usually features playful material with occasional unsettling moments, yet this video carried a different tone. Carly and her mother walked into the trees behind their home to find out what had been attacking their ducks. Multiple birds had been killed during the preceding days. As they followed a narrow trail, everything initially felt casual. Nothing about the early walk suggested how unsettling the search would soon become. They talked about the missing ducks joked together and indicated areas where their security cameras had recorded activity at night. However, the deeper they traveled, the more unusual details began disturbing the atmosphere around them. Carly mentioned that during her previous visit to the area, she had seen objects resembling doll heads placed between the trees. At the time, she dismissed them as an odd coincidence, but returning to the same location made the surroundings feel noticeably different. Soon, both women noticed something lying ahead on the forest floor and immediately stopped there. Once they approached, they could tell it was not an animal.
But this is weird. Okay, so how many trees are down?
Like 4, 5, 6. Oh, that's creepy. Yeah.
The object was a tiny doll head partly covered by fallen leaves. They attempted to laugh off the discovery and maintain a casual mood, but the forest became increasingly bizarre as they continued forward. Nearby trees appeared warped and contorted in forms that seemed difficult to explain, naturally intensifying their discomfort. Carly then spotted another object on the ground that she believed had not been present only a few moments earlier.
Is that a rat? Did the raccoon kill a rat?
What is that?
I don't know. I don't want to touch it. Oh!
Drop it!
What?
Drop that.
They discovered a second doll, and its placement seemed too deliberate to have happened accidentally. The mood immediately changed. They debated whether they should touch it or leave it where it was, while both appeared increasingly uncomfortable about remaining in the area any longer. It was becoming obvious that neither woman wanted to continue. Even so, the dolls were not the most disturbing discovery waiting deeper in the woods.
Anyways, you said this looks like an arrow.
Yeah.
Carly! We're not alone here. Focus, girl. You're too focused on that tree. What is this? Where did that come from? That wasn't there before. Did the doll do this? We got rid of all the dolls.
No, the other doll.
Well, the ones over here?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. We'll leave it over here.
Mom, it's gonna be possessed and haunted. We're gonna leave it right here. Drop it.
Okay.
Drop it.
I will.
When they finally turned around to return home, another sight brought them to an immediate stop. Bright red feathers covered the ground.
Oh no, something. Do you see what I see?
No.
Do you see all those red feathers? Oh, there's a bird. Something died here. All this weirdness. Okay, we are out of here. Looks like a little cardinal.
Oh.
What?
I think there's blood down there.
What the heck is going on? Why are all these tree branches all weird like this and bent? Was a bird sacrificed to the evil dolls? Okay, this is way too creepy. Okay. You stay here and we're going.
Arranged in a way suggesting that an animal had recently been killed there. That discovery ended the investigation. They chose not to continue farther through the forest, yet leaving the area did not resolve the uncertainty surrounding what they had seen, whether the objects formed only a bizarre sequence of coincidences, or whether somebody had intentionally placed each one there. Had you been walking through that forest, would you have continued onward? Or would the first doll have convinced you to turn around right away? On May 7th, 2025, Wild Bear recorded a 24-hour camping challenge in a public woodland beside a British military installation. Instead of centering the trip on survival, Claire approached the setting as a mental test of staying completely unnoticed. Her goal was not drama, but the challenge of remaining there while blending into everything around her. To avoid detection,
24 hours starts now. There are people everywhere. Dog walkers, just people out for a walk. I found myself a really well-hidden little spot down here. There's loads of dead foliage attached to the trees, which is giving me lots of camouflage. That area is not big enough to put a tent, but I think for my little bivvy, it'll be fine. Yeah, I'm really happy with that. Really stealthy, really nice and well hidden and low profile. I've got to clear a nice area so that I can boil water, all this dry stuff. Of course, you don't want that getting anywhere near your stove, so I've decided to have for my dinner chicken curry and chocolate pudding with chocolate sauce. Oh yeah, actually it smells really nice, really tomatoey. It's 6:30. It does seem to be a little bit quieter in the woods now. There's still people coming along though, so I can't let my guard down. I want to be very careful using light tonight because of where I am, close to an army base. I don't want them thinking there's some kind of weirdo hiding in the woods. I've just bought my little head torch, and I do have my 2 night vision trail cameras as well, so we can use those. I think it's going to be quite cool later. And I've got my Leviathan here in a really thin light bivvy bag, just in case of condensation really, and my big floofy pillow. I think this is going to be well cozy, and I feel like I'm going to sleep good tonight.
Claire tested natural concealment by remaining almost openly visible. She placed a simple bivvy only feet from the military boundary, covering it with dry bracken and woodland litter until it merged with the terrain. Camping beside the barbed wire barrier produced steady pressure because a passing military patrol could still discover her at any moment, despite her position on public property.
So I'm all full up. I'm in my bed now, and I can just start to see the lights from the army base through the trees over there. I was hoping that because of that busy road there, the dogs in this little bit of woods would be kept on leads so they don't run into the road, so that they don't come sniff me out and alert their owners to my presence. Hopefully I don't get busted in the morning. It is 7 o'clock. It's 7 degrees. The woods is actually pretty quiet this morning. I've only heard one doggo so far. Hi. It's okay, it's okay. Hello, hello. Hi. There's quite a lot of people about now. There's been a couple of lovely doggos along, and they were both very kind. They didn't give me away. Hi. Okay, it is 10 o'clock. I think I'm gonna have coffee with whitener and try some of these biscuits. Oh, there's people over there. Right. Brown biscuits, peanut butter. It is 11 o'clock. I've got 1 hour left. I can almost taste the victory. I think I'm going to start putting the rest of my stuff away now and then just lay low for the last hour. So that's me done then. 24 hours undetected in this lovely, stealthy little spot here.
Yet the greatest challenge to her concealment came from regular people using the same path. As the long day passed, civilians gradually became the main concern. Walkers with dogs moved only meters from her, while several animals stopped scented the air and looked toward the concealed camp. Claire stayed motionless and completely quiet, aware that one inquisitive dog charging through the undergrowth would immediately expose her and end the entire attempt. Beneath the playful experiment is a broader point about human awareness. That people moved extremely close without noticing her shows how often attention overlooks something when the mind has no reason to anticipate it. In the end, one question remains: how much around us stays invisible simply because we never think to look for it? On August 29, 2020, Uncharted Travel recorded a solitary overnight stay inside a deserted countryside house that seemed less like an empty shell and more like a nightmare frozen in time. Trent, the host, entered rooms packed with the decaying traces of one family's existence and soon realized certain truths may have been meant to remain buried.
So finally just got inside here, and there's a lot more brush than I remember. And it looks like this is a nice photo of some ducks or something. Hello? There's a mouse that just moved under that box. It startled me. And there's, I think, a photo of the mother or one of the daughters. No stove, but the fridge is still here. I believe there's nothing inside. Please don't be smelly. Oh. Okay, that was a mistake. Looks like they had some ducks. Maybe they farmed them, I don't know. And then there's all these cassettes Gordon had that he recorded. But they have very obscure names. Found on Highway 55 or found on Highway 56. Here, and I gotta be careful with my light because it looks right out onto the road. This looks like it was a photo of the two sisters. Oh, here's a photo of all four of them. It's probably one of the last photos ever taken. Or one of the few photos taken with all of them. Sad to see that it looks like a little more destroyed than the last time. This room always creeps me out. This was like their sunroom. They turned it into like a makeshift bedroom for someone. This looks like one of many photos Gordon had of animals he'd killed.
This is a Thursday night. It's 7:31. I'm laying here in the alcove bed. I wonder, this is Rec Party. I've got the homemade condenser microphone up my left ear. Okay, I'm Rick. Oh, it's Rick. Okay. No, I don't think anybody goes to another life when they die. You're holding on to the braid, going various connections through wires, cords draped around my earlobe.
Old projector slides. You can see this one's like, looks like it's of the moon. It's hard to see. That one looks like it's someone standing in the grass. As you can see, here's more of these collages that Gordon has made of animals he's killed and mutilated here. Very disturbing.
The mood changes as soon as he reaches the living area, where every abandoned object appears unusually purposeful and weighted with meaning. Hidden across the dim rooms are private belongings and puzzling audio recordings that point toward a severely disturbed mind. Along the walls, warped pictures and damaged family portraits.
Something worth noting here, I noticed this my first time at this house, is this dresser would have been covered with books, but if you look behind it here, it's actually blocking an entrance to an unfinished attic. And on the other side of that attic, right there where you see that pink open door, that's actually a secluded kids' room. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where I'm going to be sleeping tonight.
Imply a past that somebody had urgently attempted to alter, erase, or conceal. The darkest discovery lies behind a large attic wardrobe, a narrow compartment built to confine someone with access controlled solely from outside. Even with its disturbing meaning, Trent chooses to remain there overnight.
Moving into the next room here. Oh wow, there's vintage clothing and dresses. Looks like whoever lived in this room was very into fashion. Look at this TV. This Thompson advises. Man takes wife for granted. So maybe some old photos and old projector slides. It looks fairly empty, which is a disappointment.
As darkness grows, however, the building seems to stir. Sudden, frantic noises burst through the metal piping while aggressive scratching races inside the walls. The tension finally peaks.
Oh my god, there's something living in that pipe. You hear that? Oh my god. I was just packing up my headphones. The pipes just began to shake and... Alright. Let's get out of here. Back into my home sweet home. And I think with that, I can now call it a night. I don't know if it's just the storm, because it's picked up a lot. I don't know if you can hear, but there's like a loud banging sound downstairs. I might have to go check it out. I don't know. It's really hard to sleep in this house. I keep hearing something running around out here. There's nothing. I don't know what it is. It sounds like it's scurrying. So it looks like I'm gonna have to close this door for tonight. I don't want raccoon visitors during the night. The outside lock is still working. I could lock myself in here and just This house just doesn't want to give me that. The worst part about these alones is not actually going these places, and not like, I have no problem exploring the creepiest depths of each of these places, like tunnels, no problem. Creepy basements, no problem. Oh my god, I keep getting woken up like you don't even understand. It's just like echoing off this chamber. Oh my god, you guys can't see this right now. My shoes on. This camera. I hope that wasn't a person. Hello? Okay, so this was that bang you just heard. You know that shelf that was sitting right here that I pushed out of the way that was blocking the entrance to this attic? It just almost took a tumble down the stairs. And it scared the life out of me. How the hell did this thing fall? I thought I gave it enough space on the ledge where it wouldn't have.
When the enormous wardrobe, the single barrier obstructing the way out, unexpectedly crashes down the staircase for no visible reason. In the end, the terror comes not from supernatural activity, but from silent signs of human fixation. One question remains: if nothing paranormal lived there, why was a child-sized chamber concealed and secured externally? After people abandon a house, does its truth vanish, or do buried secrets become impossible to ignore? December 2022 brought Johnny Paranormal into Japan's infamous Aokigahara forest, where he encountered a scene that continued to haunt him after the journey ended, far beyond the moment when he finally exited the woods.
This forest, when you're walking around the roads and stuff like that and the sun's shining, it feels okay. But as soon as you look into this forest, it's just dark. And I'm not saying that, you know, for any other reason, but that's reality of this place. I wouldn't say like, you know, ghostly feel to it or anything, but it has like a bad vibe.
It's close. Here we go. That's a body. Far out. Very old body. Been here a long time. Head come off. I had a feeling about this area, that's why I wanted to come in here. So, alright, just found a body. That's why you've got to be so thorough in your searching team. Body's been, it might be I think it's a woman. I think it's a girl. Coming in, hang themselves. Shoot up the tree. There's the moose. Must have been I don't know, this is weird. And I stupidly didn't buy any ribbons, so there you go. I don't know, from those shoes, it's a woman's hanged herself. Oh, that's why I'm here.
Initially, Johnny thought he had found a discarded heap of clothes. Within moments, however, he understood that a completely decomposed human body lay underneath, leaving only skeletal remains. A pale and delicate skull rested some distance from the remaining bones. It had probably detached and rolled away as decomposition weakened the skeleton over time. The discovery offered a disturbing reminder of how Aokigahara developed its grim reputation, and why experienced explorers still enter the sea of trees cautiously carrying respect and unease. With its troubled history and countless tragedies associated with the area, Aokigahara is not somewhere simple curiosity should guide anyone. Its silent seclusion and history of loss create an emotional weight, and traveling through the forest without sufficient care or awareness can gradually transform an ordinary exploration into an experience that becomes psychologically and emotionally difficult to process. Cumberland Outdoorsman is an accomplished hunter who has spent his entire life exploring the backcountry of Tennessee. He recognizes every wildlife call and every ordinary noise these Tennessee forests are commonly known to produce. However, on the last Saturday of hunting season, he encountered something that challenged everything he thought he knew about the surrounding wilderness. The afternoon was peaceful when he stopped to hunt squirrels. The forest remained still and undisturbed, just as he anticipated after spending decades traveling through these isolated places. Without warning, however, a strange howl suddenly shattered the quiet.
Well, folks, I just spotted him. Sounds like it moved. There, you hear it. Don't know what in the world that is. It sounds weird. I thought it was a coyote, but I'm not real sure. You can hear it. I'm not sure. I'm about ready to get out of here anyway. That sounds weird. I'm glad I got a loaded rifle with me. Well, folks, whatever that is, it was howling a while ago. It started up again. I don't know what it is. It sounds like there's some coyotes, but there's something else. Well, folks, there it is. If anybody has an idea of what that might be, please leave a comment below. I don't know what it is. I'm not going to make any claims whatsoever. Last Saturday evening, repeatedly, I wish I had turned on my HD camera the first go around when it was really sounding off directly ahead of me.
He decided to leave not because panic had taken over, but because he had no idea at all what might be nearby. The chance of spotting whatever produced the noise seemed small, yet continuing to wait there felt less sensible by the minute. Humberland gathered his equipment and started the 1-mile hike toward his truck. He had hunted throughout the area for many years and recognized every path and hollow, but nothing he had previously heard had ever sounded remotely similar before. The recording captured that evening created more uncertainty than clarity. Each howl sounded distinct and failed to resemble any familiar creature he had encountered during his many years outdoors. Viewers who later heard the audio offered several possible explanations, although nobody could confidently determine what Cumberland had encountered that evening deep within the Tennessee backcountry. Unfamiliar sounds can feel more threatening than visible dangers, particularly when they emerge from isolated forests. If you heard a noise like this without recognizing its source, would you rely on your experience or decide that leaving was safer? Eric brought his son to hunt deer on privately owned land where they had already confirmed that they were legally allowed to be there. Almost immediately, the situation felt wrong because an unfamiliar armed man was already present on the property.
Hey man, who are you?
Who the hell are y'all?
Eric, and this is my son. We're about to go down here and hunt. Do you have permission to hunt here?
Yep.
From who?
Landowner.
Who's the landowner?
He's up by the road, I think.
The landowner. He's told me, last time I talked to him, he said he's not going to give any permission to anyone other than me and my son.
I guess he told you wrong.
Okay, then I'll call him.
Hey, why are you filming me?
He can film whoever he wants. Hey, stay back, man, because we don't know you. You don't know us. Keep them.
As Eric tried to handle the issue, the confrontation intensified quickly. The stranger claimed that the owner had also given him permission, but Eric doubted the story because no one had mentioned another authorized hunter. He called the landowner at once to confirm it and received a definite answer: the man had no permission to be there. As Eric stayed on the call, the stranger's behavior visibly changed. Eric then challenged,
Hey, have you given permission to this somebody come out here and hunt besides me and my son? Just a guy in a camo jacket, blue jeans, boots, got a gun. He's not even wearing orange. You do not have permission to hunt here. Who, do you live around here?
I'm going to my truck.
Where's your truck?
I don't trust you.
She don't trust you because you're not allowed to hunt here.
I just wanted to have a day of deer hunting.
And besides, the road's not even that way. How did you get into this property?
The damn road is over there. I'm getting away from y'all.
You're acting like we're the issue, dude. You're hunting property where you're not supposed to be. You're trespassing.
Y'all are shit.
him directly making clear that he was trespassing and hunting unlawfully on private property. Instead of accepting responsibility, the stranger acted as though Eric and his son had created the trouble. He would not say how he had accessed the land and eventually tried to depart. The pressure kept rising, and briefly the confrontation appeared capable of getting completely out of hand. Thankfully, that never happened. The stranger departed without another incident. Still, meeting an armed trespasser could easily have produced a much worse outcome, demonstrating how rapidly uncertainty or fear can become dangerous in the forest. And leaving one question: how many comparable encounters occur when no camera is recording? On January 28, 2023, footage appeared on the YouTube channel Stuck in the Rut and soon attracted attention. The video follows brother and sister Tana and Trevor while hunting a brown bear far inside Alaska's remote wilderness. Following several days in the backcountry, they eventually locate the bear they had been pursuing. What seemed like the closing stage of their hunt abruptly develops into a life-threatening encounter. The pair attempts to move closer and secure a clear shot, but the bear climbs farther up the mountain. Although they are exhausted and facing brutal ground, deep snow-slick ice and sharp slopes, they keep moving ahead. Strong wind also makes approaching unnoticed increasingly difficult.
Hey!
Did you hit it? Oh, he's getting up. Go again. Jeez, go down. I think you got him. Is it jammed? Hold on, let me reach.
Trevor spots the bear inside shooting distance and readies his rifle. Then, at the worst moment imaginable, the weapon jams while he desperately tries clearing it. Meanwhile, the bear starts heading directly toward them. Trevor eventually fires 3 rounds. Each shot connects, yet the animal continues coming forward. Although injured, the bear refuses to slow down. The gap separating it from the hunters shrinks rapidly. When the rifle malfunctions once more,
we just had this bear up there. It was bedded when I shot it, and it actually came running after us all the way down the hill. This is its tracks and blood trail.
they realize their only option is escaping. They shut down the camera. Recording no longer matters. Their attention turns entirely toward surviving as they run. Tana takes out her phone and begins capturing the unfolding emergency. The bear pursues them downhill, leaving them no choice but to discard their equipment. At the final possible second, Trevor fires one last round, which finally causes the animal to collapse. The encounter nearly ended tragically. It offers a powerful warning about the danger posed by wild animals, even after being wounded, while raising a difficult question: how can anyone fully prepare when nature continues advancing and refuses to retreat?